afternoon. I now call to order the special town board meeting of Tuesday, December 22nd. Visitors are invited to join the board members to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Councilwoman Barnum. Here. Councilwoman Hush-LaRae.
She's excused.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Supervisor Sealy.
Here.
And attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have one agenda item today, and it relates to the fire from December 24th through the 25th. Obviously, many things have been said, and we'll continue to be working on both dealing with the fire, moving our DPW operations, and going through the insurance claim process. One practical matter does exist, and it's the need to enter into a certain number of contracts and financial obligations in a short amount of time. Small, more minutia, but we are going to be making a lot of purchase orders, some of which we would routinely go to a town board, as is consistent with our procurement policy. So in the interest of ensuring that our highway department is continuing to provide prompt services and has the resources they need to provide public services, it's necessary for us to enter into enter a resolution that notwithstands some of our procurement policies relevant to smaller purchases and also some contractual services relevant to the fire. And I will ask Madam Clerk to call up the first agenda item for action.
Item number 12, STB 2016-1, declaring an emergency relating to the December 24th, 2016 fire at the Town Department of Public Works Garage and Operations Center, authorizing the supervisor to make essential procurements pursuant to the emergency exception of General Municipal Law, Section 103, Paren 4, and authorizing expedited procurement to replace other equipment and supplies.
So just briefly, then I'm going to ask our town attorney for a fuller explanation of any holes I left in my explanation. But in effect, this does not give me carte blanche authority to go out and purchase heavy equipment. Likely we would still go to town board for that, because that's more practical and takes weeks to develop. This would allow me to do things such as enter into intermunicipal loans with other governments. As I've discussed publicly, many local governments have offered to loan us their vehicles, and normally when that occurs, some sort of indemnification takes place whereby we authorizes myself through board action to enter into a municipal loan or an intermunicipal agreement with another government agency. This would simply allow me to do that for purposes relevant to the fire and needing to maintain DPW services. It would allow me to do things like that without board approval. The board would still be able to, and I'll make clear, review and approve or ratify all contracts that I enter into, so it's important that we maintain that check, but this is more of a practical, allowing the wheels of government to churn in this extraordinary times. Laura, anything I left out?
The only addition would be pointing out that this is not for purchase of equipment that we're looking to order so we can get a snow plow in August. This is what the town needs today and tomorrow to get up and running and still providing the services to protect the life, safety, and property of the residents of Irondequoit. So it's a very short time frame that we're looking at in terms of the DPW being able to provide the services necessary to continue their essential services for the town.
Very good. Lori, anything to add?
I just wanted to be sure that because
Yes.
we have here in item B, purchase equipment, vehicles, and supplies, so we would strike vehicles?
Yes, I'm going to
Because
propose on item B in the first, therefore be it resolved that we strike vehicles, just the word vehicles, to be the last line of page 1. It's not necessary to have in there any vehicles that we would purchase relevant, purchase being the key word, relevant to our DPW services would be larger purchases that we would still go through for board approval.
And I understand that, I believe that you and your team are going to carry through and just do what we need to do, but I just, just to the letter of the,
Yes.
I just wanted to be sure. So thank you. And I'd also love to commend you and the Deputy Commissioner and the Deputy Supervisor and the Commissioner of DPW and the Deputy Commissioner and their whole staff for an unbelievable amount of time and dedication given over a holiday weekend. Thank you very much. On behalf of all the people in Arundecoit, I'm sure we'd all agree.
Thank you. On behalf of Bob, thank you as well. Any other questions or comments? I never actually took a.
Wanna take a motion?
We're a
Yeah.
little
I got one.
rusty here. I'll take a motion for the resolution.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
Mr. Weiner, question?
Well, yeah, I guess mine was, I would like to echo what Lori said also, but now that we've stricken vehicles from the resolution, I'm a lot more comfortable. But, one thing I want to be able to, I want to make sure that we are concerned with, like if we buy, and I'm just using a round number, and it's probably not the right number, but $1 million worth of vehicles right now, what do we do 15 years from now when all those things have reached their end of their life cycle? That we got to really think about how we procure and what we procure for the, from these heavy equipment, because they have a life cycle. And if they all expire approximately the same time, 15 years from now, you're going to have a hell of a burden on the taxpayer at that point.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
I do, Dave, you
Go ahead.
touched a little bit on it, but when we enter into any kind of agreement with another local government, whether they plow for us, sewer, whatever they do, is there a cost factor to that, or?
Well, what we,
you know-
what is, and I'll give an explanation. Bob back there might be able to further elaborate. We are offering to the towns, providing a per hour rate that's consistent with what the state of New York sets generally. Some towns have already said declined or that, and we're at least offering that. And I think you'll find, and I assume we'll find most towns are just going to say, we'll waive that right, and thanks but no thanks.
Okay.
Bob, is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Supervisor. At this time, there are 7 different towns that have been in contact with the Department of Public Works in the town of Arundecoit.
Bob, is your mic on, or do you not have a mic?
I'm sorry. There have been many different towns that have been in contact with myself or Supervisor Celia, but the town as a whole. And for the towns which we will borrow equipment, we would be borrowing a dump truck with plow and salt equipment to be able to continue the essential operations for snow and ice removal during the 16-17 snow and ice season. For those towns where we would use that equipment, we would enter into a memorandum of agreement, a shared services agreement, if you will, to be able to use that vehicle through the 16-17 snow and ice season. As part of that agreement, I certainly offered to those municipalities that the hourly rates that the vehicle was in use, we would, of course, compensate them. On any of our jobs where we contract out any and all type of services, be it to other governments or to the County of Monroe, school districts, etc., we typically charge an hourly rate for equipment use, as we are not going to be using and utilizing any outside staff when it comes to other personnel from other towns to plow our roads. We would only be compensating other towns the hourly rate for the equipment used, as our internal staff would still plow our roads in our subdivisions.
And we're doing so relatively confident that it would fall under our insurance claim that would be made.
Yes, so that was the second component of really a lot of the questions from other towns was, would our insurance coverage, would our insurance carrier cover any type of accident that would occur with regard to, the plow itself and or our operators driving another town's piece of equipment. And so our insurance will be covering the temporary use of other outside towns, other outside municipalities' equipment during the 16-17 snow and ice season.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. I'll note this concludes our special town board meeting. I thank the board members for their attendance on the holiday week. Our next meeting will be an organizational meeting, January 5th, 2017 at 4 p.m., which will likely be followed by a regular town board meeting January 12th. Our regular meeting time, 7 p.m., that's a Tuesday. Both meetings here in the Broderick Meeting Room. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
In a second.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting Meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Irondequoit's government access channel.